Welcome to episode 4 of Bench Racing. I'm your host, Brian Danforth, here with one Mr. Troy DeCaire, back again. Interesting weekend that we had a lot of fun. We'll get into that in just a second. But Troy, you ever been in like a bathroom stall and it says, for a good time, call this number?
Yeah.
Well, I got a number that you can call for a real good time.
I can't tell you how many times I've called it just for fun.
Ooh. Well, we won't get into that. But I got a number that you can call for a real good time.
What's that?
It is 863-944-4214. And that is the number for our sponsor, once again, of the opening segment, Raging Bull Racing Engines, back on board with us. So glad that they're sticking with us. Love those guys. Appreciate them for not quitting on us yet. I guess we don't suck that bad.
No, hey, that's really what we're trying. We're trying not to suck.
Yeah, that's exactly all we're trying to do is try not to suck.
I really live by that motto. Like Joe Madden put that on the shirt when the Cubbies won the Super Bowl. Jesus Christ, too early to be this heavy tongue. But anyways, when they won the World Series, and like really, I was like, you know what? That's not bad.
Yeah.
Like just try not to suck.
Well, I'll tell you what doesn't suck. Raging Bull Racing Engines.
They don't.
No. Good, top of the line quality kart motors. Also do small engine motors, or small engine motors. Look at me, I'm too many of these deep. Small engines for like them little ones, like motorbikes, dirt bikes, pit bikes, all the bar stool races, all that stuff. So for any of your karting needs,
if it's got combustion, they make it.
Yeah, for any of your karting needs, give Mr. Brian and Brandon Bull a call at 863-944-4214. And speaking of karting, we did a little karting this weekend.
Yeah, we did.
Had a lot of fun.
I did. And you know what happened? As soon as we got there, people pulled up on their golf cart, walked by. Oh, I thought go-karts suck. Oh, I thought you hate it. I thought you didn't teach. And I'm like, listen. Everybody, listen.
Let me explain.
Listen. So, like, here's the deal. I'm a go-kart kid. That's what I did. And I flew that flag. I loved it, because I always hated battling with quarter midget kids or, whatever it was. And then I couldn't believe that I was having to defend I'm like, okay, guys, here was my stance. All I'm saying is like when, and Kyle Bookmiller came up and some old school cats that I raced with, and like when we raced, it was, cart came in, cleaned the tires off of gas. You know what I mean? Go back out there and you raced. Like That was how it was. Half the time you didn't even have to put it on a cart buggy. You just put a slide of tire under it type deal.
Had the little PVC thing you stuck in the steering wheel, steered it back to the trailer.
Yeah. That whole deal. But like, so what I just, because I don't want to keep every episode harping on this and I don't want to be that guy. But like, I just hate where it's become because, a handful of years ago, and here's the problem when you get old like me now, is everything to me was a year or two ago, and it might be 10. Yeah. So is like my brother used to own a go-kart, and when I was living in Indiana racing sprint cars, blah, blah, every now and then I'd come home, I'd grab it and go to Fruitland, Dirt Devil, wherever, and race. Mm-hmm. And we could win. And we won a bunch of those buggy races when he was doing stuff, and like it was great.
Yeah.
But what I hate is like I would own a buggy right now or a flat cart or whatever, but I can't because I'm not married to the tire game and I'm not whatever. And really that teased me off because I could have won this Saturday if my tire guy didn't miss it.
Oh, come on. Hey, I didn't miss it that bad. We run second.
Run second.
I mean, that's becoming a common theme for Troy.
Yeah, hey, there ain't nothing wrong with silver. But here's the deal: is like, you can't own one and go out there and then and compete unless you're with somebody who's up on the tire game or got some tires in rotation or has an extra set or this. I mean, there's just a lot to it.
So basically what he's saying, if I do all the work, he don't mind showing up and riding for me.
Correct. I love go-karts if I could show up with somebody who's got their shit together.
Yeah.
And
we half-ass had it together. At first we didn't.
We were about three-quarter ass.
Yeah. I missed first practice because I didn't have oil in
regardless, like, I mean, and I know some of the people who got sensitive over what I said is because that's how they make their living, selling go-karts or selling tires or setting them up or doing whatever. And like, when I say shit on here, look, this is bench racing.
Yeah.
Okay, this is. Hell, I was drinking when I said that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, what I mean by that is like, you know, that's just how I feel. It's just go-kart racing isn't what it used to be, and it's hard to be a part of. But we had some fun Saturday night. I mean, a lot of people went to Jasper. There was, you know, limited amount of go-karts at Dirt Devil.
There was a big Super 8 race at Jasper that got scheduled before Dirt Devils, so a lot of people had already committed to go there, but we still had a good turnout. I ran super heavy. We actually had 9 show up in super heavy.
How cool is that, though, for Jasper to have 370-something entries for a Saturday night dig?
Yeah, they were parking guys on Friday night.
And I don't think that's all on COVID. I think that is just, you know, when you put together a quality product, you put some money on the line.
Yeah.
People, if you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
And you know what? Wade has done that for decades.
Yeah, for sure. So we went to the track. I ran super heavy, like I said, regular super heavy, pro super heavy. Ran second in regular super and ran fourth in pro super. Missed it a little bit in pro super, but Troy,
them tires,
being the amateur that he is, ran amateur crate.
I was going to run junior 3, but they wouldn't let me.
So he was going to run senior crate, but there wasn't enough, so that we had to convince him to let him run amateur just because we had some go-karts to run against, and they made him start in the back, won the heat race.
Hell yeah.
And then started second in the feature. And Chris Kingham, the leader, he checked out on you for a little bit.
He checked out on you. Okay, I was just the dummy holding the wheel. He checked out on you. Luckily, I gathered it back up, brought our shit back towards him, and we made a run at the end. But, I mean, I haven't run a go-kart 6-7 years.
Got to his back bumper going into
I
3.
messed up. Okay, that plain and simple. I mean, but here is some positive go-kart fans, supporters, you know, militia. Is go-kart is good for conditioning and stuff, because I could run 40 laps in a sprint car and I'm full containment seat, power steering, yada yada. But there's no better conditioning for my race car than running go-kart. I mean, I was tired. My head was hanging over on the engine.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a little out of shape physically. I don't, you know, weights are heavy. I don't work out.
Yeah.
Like, so running a go-kart is great for conditioning, you know. And my stance on the whole deal is just, as far as teaching young kids, maneuverability, pedals, all that stuff, I still feel like, I mean, my stance is firm on that. Like, I think they need to do something that teaches them more than, you know, but here's what go-kart does teach you. How to position yourself in a race, to hold back when your tires don't fire, and to go when they do. And I made those errors because I'm just not sound on it. I haven't been doing it in a while. But, you know, there's a lot to a go-kart race that can raise your racing IQ. And that's really when I harp on things is racing IQ. Okay. Right. And that's a big deal. And that's a whole nother segment.
Yeah. So we had a good time. A lot of fun. And I put on my Facebook page for my race in Brian Danforth Motorsports. I posted that was the most fun I had racing in a long time. And the reason I said that is because since I've been back in the go-kart thing, I've only run like 6 races. Well, only a couple of them have been Saturday nights, and most of them have been either big money races or state races. And you're so stressed out the whole time. There's a lot of pressure because you done spent so much money to get there. We didn't spend a lot of money Saturday night, and we had a hell of a lot of fun. And I kind of want to run a lot of Saturday nights this year.
I mean, that's a big shout out to some of the things that places are doing to make karting more fun for your Saturday night dig. Like that crate class, I've never been a part of like when I was around, there wasn't no box stock. There wasn't no Predator or crate. I don't even know what the hell the engine is I was running Saturday.
So for those of you who don't know, some of you know, like stock car people, the crate class in go-karts is you buy a $275 motor and it's sealed. You can't do anything to it. And the class has a gear rule. Everybody has to be on the same driver and same sprocket. So it really just, you know, it eliminates some things. It's kind of it's a cost cutting class. You know, you don't have to spend $1,400 on a new clone motor. you spend $275 and just run it till it either blows up or wears out, then guess what? Just go get you another one. So that's where that whole class is. I think it's a great class. I'm actually searching for another crate motor right now, so me and Troy can try to race against each other. So if anybody knows of a crate motor for sale or has one for sale, please contact me, because I will gladly take that thing off your hands so me and him can race against each other, and I can, wad his shit up. Actually, I shouldn't do that, because then I got to fix it.
Yeah, so. That's really dumb. It's your go-kart.
Yeah.
And I made some mistakes. Like I said, I run into some tires, because when I grew up racing a Dirt Devil, it was a little different. They had a berm and stuff. They had some tires out in the middle of the racetrack that kind of threw me off a little bit. But like it did, Saturday night did take me back to the backyard dig. Like, that's why I always talk about this place called Circle C. My buddy Tony Carino, he has a pavement and a dirt track in his backyard. And we'd go there on a Wednesday or Thursday and we throw down.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it was. And I think that was because a lot of the stress of karting was in Jasper. So it was more of the Saturday night dig was there, and it took it back for me a little bit. And I do enjoy that. That's where I came from. That's where me, Eric Amarola, where we cut our teeth.
Yeah.
And it was cool to get back and race again there. And I appreciate that. I really do. Yeah.
Nah, man, we're going to do it again for sure. We'll go piss some more people off, because we got accused of trophy stealing, even though we ran second. So
that's another thing. It's like people get all bent out of shape. He's like, "Oh, you're out here, cherry picking, doing it." Like, first of all, Carl, I haven't raced the go-kart in forever. And by the way, okay, guess what? I won't race. Shit, I didn't win. So now you went from running third to second. What the hell you can do about the guy who won? Y'all just for racers across the board who want to complain after the hell with that. Like, because there's going to be those obstacles. You're always going to race with somebody who's got more experience, got more money, got more whatever. You know what? Go home, make your shit work.
Yeah. So those guys were down there, and they weren't just talking to Troy. They were talking to the guy that won the amateur crate feature as well, because he usually runs senior crate, but like I said, there wasn't enough, so he dropped down to run. Kind of the same thing we did. We just wanted to run and get some go-karts, and they were all bent out of shape, even though they were a lap down. So they're all bent out of shape, and I just told them as we were driving away on the golf cart, I just waved to them and I said, "Bye, go get your shit faster." I don't think it like that very much.
Well, the way I look at it is like, okay, you ever when you were a kid or however, you bought the next NASCAR game that came out, and when it was going through the tutorial right when it started, you could select rookie, like amateur, pro, or like
legend.
Like fucking
Hall of Fame,
wide open. And you were like, that's me. Yeah. And you just selected that. You went and got your teeth kicked in, but you sat there for hours and hours until you got good enough to race. But you didn't want to race it on rookie because you knew you could win right off the bat. So, like, what fun is it really? Like, I loved it. As a matter of fact, coming through the sprint car ranks and stuff, like, when the hitters weren't there and you won, it was cool, but it always had an asterisk. You know what I mean? It wasn't the same. Like, you want to win against whoever's the best. And me and the dude who ran 1-2, like, we damn sure ain't the best, but that's a benchmark for you to chase. Like, and you're only as good as who you race against. So you might want to race against people who are better than you. Like, that's why I harp on these kids who stay in the same class until they're almost a year too old. It's like, and as soon as you win, roll up to the next one. Just keep pressuring yourself, because all it's going to do is make you better.
Right. So they weren't very happy, but hey, we appreciate those guys being there. We need the cart count. We need the car count. Any racetrack, the more the merrier. But just don't whine and cry and be a little baby.
I think overall it was a great night. Laura and them did great with the racetrack. I feel like it was pretty good.
Yeah, racetrack was bad fast, and the thing I liked about it is you could run through the corner. If somebody was underneath you, you didn't have to check up and let three guys go by to get back to the bottom. You could actually run through the corner with somebody underneath you and not just spin out. I'm not saying you're going to pass anybody in the second groove, but you could make the corner and not end up in the hay bales. You know what I mean?
Right. No, it was all good. I agree with it. The junior classes were great. I watched all of it like a fan. I was having a great time, and I think collectively everybody did.
Right.
But yet, again, to my people in go-karting, don't take it so personal.
Yeah.
That's just how I feel.
So I said something there that's kind of going to take us into our next segment here. And I said that there were some cobs yelling at us.
Well, and also last week, some people wrote cob on the thing, and people didn't know what a cob was.
Somebody asked what a cob was. So we're going to talk about some racing slang, all right? And this racing slang segment is brought to you by One Affordable Screen Print and Embroidery. And so as you can see, some of the beautiful shirts that they / we have made sitting here behind us. Actually, I'm wearing one here too. So
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
So racing slang.
Now, we all know, like, let's not get off on a tangent. This could be a slippery slope.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep it into black here.
Yeah.
We're going to keep it in the groove. Everybody just stay on line. Okay. Now, a cob.
Okay.
Now, first rule of a cob is if you don't know what a cob is, there's a good chance you are
a
one.
cob.
Yeah. Like that's rule number one. If you're like, I mean, just goes back to your high school days. If people are talking about shit and you don't know what it is, it's you.
Yeah.
So, and a cob is no different than being and it's not necessarily a scrub or whatever. It's just, I mean, some people, I mean, and now cob can go off into, and I don't want to get off into, nouns, verbs, adjectives.
Right.
Let's just, but I mean, you could be a cob. You could cob shit up.
Yeah.
You could get cobbed up. Like there's all kinds of things, but it's just a cob is a cob.
Yeah.
Okay, cob.
Yeah. Okay, cob. Like, don't be like, I'm going to give you some cob things that you can do. For one, piss and moan at the scale house that you got outran in an amateur class. Also, what's another cob thing to do? Oh, I know, putting your neck brace on before your helmet.
That is Cobb 101.
Yeah.
In the book of Cobb, there's a picture of a guy standing there with his neck brace on and maybe his gloves and no helmet. But I know that's kind of cool in karting now because they all put the thing and they slide. I'm like, what? That's still Cobb.
Yeah.
Okay. But I mean, if you go in there and you make Cobb is bush league.
Yeah.
If you go in there and, because the corner arcs off, if you kind of shoot the gap that's not there, go in there and run into somebody, you just cobbed them up.
Yeah.
And then you probably cobbed up the people behind you because that's what cobs do. Cobs doing cob things.
Yeah.
Like that. And cob, there's derivatives. I mean, you could be like, I grew up in the Sammy Rodriguez, Ronnie Deschamps, Kiki Thomas, Hamill used to be with Ron Moon. Like they would be like, man, look at that yo.
Yeah.
Look at that yo out there. Look at that yo out there cobbing shit up.
So yo is just another way of saying cob. So like,
yeah.
So let's see.
This is like learning Spanish.
It is.
The same word can mean 8 things.
It is. So
como se dice cob?
Yo. See. So let me see. I'm trying to give an example. Okay. If any of y'all watched NASCAR's return yesterday, they raced Darlington. And on the first lap,
Recky Spinhouse, he cobbed the whole deal up.
He cobbed the whole deal up. All right. So Ricky Stenhouse coming off a 2 on
Ricky's
lap.
a bad mofo. He's bad. Like, and I mean, he's really, really good at a lot of things.
Yeah. But he comes off a turn 2 on lap 1 at Darlington, and he sticks her in the fence head on. Now, that leads us to another slang term.
Twitter went crazy. Look at this cob.
Yeah. So we might say that Ricky stepped on his,
male counterpart. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, he fornicated things up. Yeah. Like, this is what you might say. Like, he just went out there and he rolled it out and he stepped on it. And then next thing you know, everybody's all cobbed up.
And you don't, and see the thing, okay, so you can, if you're a cob, you're a cob. But if you are not a cob, you can still, step on it.
You can still step on it. I know girls that can step on it. I don't even know what that means, but it happens.
I'm going to tell you who stepped on it yesterday.
Who's that?
7-time. Jimmy Johnson.
He had to put a video out to say about,
He stepped on it so bad he had to put a video out saying that he stepped on it.
Yeah, and I could break down that video for you. Basically, it's like, hey, sometimes you go in there and you cob shit up, and then, that's what I did. But... And I know from my West Coast buddies, because I got a bunch of people, I have a car owner out west, so I got some people out there that tune into this. So, like, See, out here in the East, like, I don't even know this. They say cob out there. Like, and we say cob, squirrel, squirrel dick.
Squirrel
like,
dick.
Yeah, look at that squirrel. Because squirrels, they're out there just darty, chasing, they run in front of your car for no damn reason, do whatever.
So basically, the difference between a cob and a squirrel dick is
Nothing.
Well, to me, a squirrel dick is a guy that's a dart with no feathers. He's just kind of all over the place.
And so that was leading to what I was saying is like
He's an unguided missile.
out west, they say like they call him a squid because like how does a squid or octopus get around? They're just out there just trying to live, man. Like so, and that doesn't mean it's bad. That's just hey, if you're a squid, like hey, I came up on this, I went in the corner and this guy shot across. Like, that could be a squirrel on the East Coast. It could be a squid. There's a lot of different things. I mean,
see, and I always, kind of call myself a cob just to keep people from, so it doesn't sting as much if people call me a cob.
Oh, you tried.
Like I shared.
You tried to deflect. That was just like if I make fun of me.
Yeah. Like yesterday, I shared the picture of me and him standing together after the race, and I put #straight cobbing because
I mean we were cobs.
We were cobs. We ran second.
I ran amateur. Like, hey,
we hit some tires. I hit tires
that
too.
might as well be called like cob heavy.
Cob heavy to the grid. Cob heavy to the grid.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So we were out there, and you know what? I didn't even win. So, sometimes you're a cob. Hey, when you back up and you go and you think about it, like if you accept your own cobbiness, then you're fine. Like. So really, hey, I mean, and we can go on and on. There's a lot of slang that definitely can't be said here.
Yeah, for sure.
Might get you suspended from NASCAR. You know what I mean? Like, and that's just that doesn't mean you're a bad person. Sometimes shit just happens. Like that's how it goes. Hey, sometimes and I didn't write it. Yeah. You didn't write. Hey. We don't make the rules. Like, let's be clear.
It's just like wearing your own shirt.
Oh,
we don't make the rules. That's just the rules.
Dude, every cob I know wears their own shirt. That's you, LJ Grimm.
Oh.
No, just because he's the first one. Like I think he got super sensitive with me over that. Yeah. And like, why do I feel like every topic I bring up on here, I have to like go back on the next episode and be like, hey man, sorry I said that. Like, I'm not sorry about nothing. This is bench racing. I am not sorry. And furthermore, anything that comes out of my mouth has nothing to do with affordable screen print and embroidery. Like, I just want that to be clear too. Because if I say some shit on here that offends you, don't take it out on their business. But, I'm going to call a cob out.
You know what's funny about LJ and his own shirt? He sent me a picture on Snapchat a couple days ago, and I screenshotted it. And he was standing with, I'm not going to call the kid out, but he was standing with a go-kart kid that was wearing his own shirt.
Right. That's being a bad role model. He was doing his best. Hey, and I know who the kid was, and I made sure, as a matter of fact, I've talked to that kid.
Did you talk to him Saturday at the track?
Hell yeah. He's a good racer. He's a damn good racer. And I appreciate them because they're leading on the same thing and why they're trying to get out of go-karting and move on to the next level because they want to teach their kid more. And I appreciate that. But, so... moral story is you don't know what a cob is. You are a cob. And if you know what a cob is, don't be one.
Yeah. Hey, I mean,
pretty simple.
And like I said, sometimes it's just, your zipper's going to fall down and you're going to take a step and
then pull a Brian Danforth and just admit you're a cob.
Yeah.
And just own your cobness.
And then it's just going to happen. I mean, it happened to a 7-time champion yesterday. And guess what? I did it Saturday.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I did it Saturday.
Some people make a career out of cobbing shit up. Like, hey, like that's your deal, Michael Waltrip. You're a cob. Hey, but don't worry, you can win a restrictor plate race, and you're like, got that.
Yeah. No, there's definitely some cobs out there.
Winning a restrictor plate race to me is like being first on a merry-go-round. Like, nothing's gonna happen, guy. We're on the same shit. We're stuck here. So shut up. Cob.
Yeah, there's definitely some cobs out there. Like one said flagman that weighs about 1,000 pounds that owes me a bunch of money. He's definitely a cob.
See, now it's gonna go dark. Now I'm gonna step in here before you cob this show up.
I just had to throw it out there. I didn't say his name, but y'all know who he is.
Dude, go to something else because we're gonna get in trouble. Because you get me fired up. I got some shit to say.
Yeah, I'm here and I got some shit to say. All right, we're gonna take a quick commercial break. Basically that means Troy's gonna make another drink. I'm gonna go take a whiz, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna go into. We've got some more topics here that we're gonna get into, and actually, guess what? That segment is sponsored again. We had another returning sponsor, but I'll tell you who that is after the break. Welcome back, all you bench racers out there. Are y'all really bench racers, or are we the bench racers and they're just fans?
Every racer is a bench racer.
That's what I thought. So we're done with our potty break. Troy's got a fresh drink, so we're ready to do the damn thing. This segment is brought to you by, once again, for the second week in a row, Yates Motorsports. We mentioned last week that they had a couple of Outlaw 4s for sale, basically super mini dirt late models, badass fast race cars. I believe that they have sold one.
Yeah, that's what they said. They sold one.
Okay, and they still got one for sale.
Did we get some coin off of that too? Did we get like a commish?
Brandon, we should have got a commission off of that because I'm pretty sure.
Or at least let us ride the other one.
Because I'm pretty sure. Hey, I got a lot of wins in Outlaw 4.
Oh, I never drove one.
Hey, so.
I could cob up an Outlaw 4.
Yeah. So if you're looking for an Outlaw 4, Yates Motorsports still has one for sale, top of the line.
No, everybody knows if they've been there, they've seen what they got. It's the shit.
It's top of the line.
They got the heat,
and it's really good price too. I forgot exactly what the price was. He told me at the racetrack, but just get in touch with either Brandon Yates or John Yates on Facebook.
I guarantee you, whatever the price is, it ain't enough. And I'm not just saying that because they're helping us, but I'm just saying. What it takes to build one of those at the quality they are, you can't get that kind of money back out of it.
Oh no, you can't. No, I've been there, done that. Had one of those. I will say this: Brandon got back in the go-kart this weekend. So
it looked like he put the go-kart on. It looked like the go-kart because I remember Brandon when he was just a little bitty kid. Him and my sister raced together a lot, and like. I don't want no part of Brandon Yates. That son of a bitch, he's big.
Oh, I'm glad.
I don't want no part of Brittany Yates. Like I'm just saying, they both messed me up. Hey, he was out there having fun too, just like everybody else. But he knows the same stress about go-karts.
Oh yeah, Brandon actually ran super heavy with me this weekend at Dirt Devils. He was out here just like us, having some fun. So Yates Motorsports now involved in the Outlaw 4 game and the karting game, and they're looking to move up. I won't say what class he's looking to move up to. That's not my story to tell. But look for Brandon Yates to be in a bigger class on the dirt tracks of Florida next year, which is why they're selling their Outlaw 4s.
I promise you he'll be a problem.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's going to be good.
And what you said about Brandon not wanting to tie it with him, I'm glad Brandon's on my side.
That's my favorite part about Brandon Yates, or all the Yates, is like that we're friends. Like, that's what's good with me because
Brandon's on my side. I mean, he came to my trailer.
They breed strong over there.
He came to our trailer multiple times. You know,
that's my buddy.
Getting asking questions. Maybe he might have borrowed something. He asked me if I had something. Like,
he damn sure wasn't how to drive.
Yeah.
No, you ain't gonna teach him shit.
Yeah, no, he wasn't coming to ask us how to drive. He's got that part down, but he was over there hanging out. So make sure you check out Yates Motorsports if you look for a good Outlaw 4. Or hell, if you want to throw a couple of dollars to the boy and help him get this new car together, or help him buy a set of tires on the go-kart, y'all holler at him for that as well. So appreciate those guys coming on board for the second week in a row. So let's get to our next topic. And this one, we're not real sure where it's going to go because we could talk for hours on this. This is true, like,
I mean, just to be clear, I could talk for hours about just about anything.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit of a talker.
Yeah. You got a little bit of like ADD deal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, go ahead. As a matter of fact, we've talked about so much. I'm not even 100% sure what you're going to lead into with here, but you fired up. You tee it up.
Okay. So we're going to talk about legends. And when I say legends, I don't mean legends cars. I mean local legends, racing legends, our heroes. I want to talk a little bit about that. Give the older guys some love that maybe aren't doing it anymore or aren't doing it as much, but they didn't have really, this kind of a platform to be talked about back in their heyday.
Oh, but you know who they are.
Yeah, but you know who they are. So
and when bench racing comes out, when you talk about certain things,
yeah,
these guys were great before the internet, before Facebook, before all that. Who Steve Kinzer is,
right?
You know who Scott Bloomquist is, and as far as local stuff, Sammy Rodriguez. Right. Keith Nosbitt, these guys. Right.
So I'll kick it off by saying this. If I had to pick an all-time hero, and this is not against any local guys. I know a lot of those guys know I love them, and I'm going to mention them here too. But if I had to pick an all-time favorite hero or all-time idol that I look up to, it would absolutely have to be Kenny Schrader. And my reasoning for that is I've always loved the way that Kenny Schrader carries himself. I love the way that Kenny Schrader is just a racer to the core. And not saying a lot of these local guys aren't, but Kenny Schrader, I have his book. It's called Gotta Race. And if you guys have never read that, even if you're not a reader, I promise you that you will thoroughly enjoy Kenny Schrader's book. Because
USAC champion.
Yeah.
Modified champion. Whatever. 4 wheels champion.
Yeah. So Schrader said in his book, he said, I've always did everything I could to race because my biggest fear in life was getting a real job. And he also said,
dude, working sucks.
Yeah. And he also said, and this is stuck by me, and this is kind of how I live by. I'm not, I'm not the greatest at what I do, but I have a lot of fun doing it. I don't ever want to stop. I've been doing it for a long time. And when I read this in Schrader's book, it has really stuck with me, and I think about it all the time. Schrader said, I'm going to race until I can't get out of the car anymore. And they said, well, then what are you gonna...
Red Farmer.
Yeah.
Red Farmer shows up to the track in the car.
Yeah.
He's 107.
Yeah. Yeah, he said, I'm going to race until I can't get out of the car anymore. And then he said, well, what are you going to do when you can't get out of the car anymore? He said, I'm going to have my pit crew help me out of the car. And then they said, well, what are you going to do when your pit crew gets too old to help you out of the car? He said, I'm going to hire a younger pit crew.
Come on.
And when he said that, I was I'm going to the shop right now. I'm getting my shit together.
Dude, that's like that's like Jack Hewitt. He's what do you say? He's I'm too honest to steal and too lazy to work, so I drive a race car. Yeah. And that's real. Yeah. And I did. I've been to a track and seen Schrader win at Terre Haute. As a matter of fact, he won Terre Haute in the Indy Mile in the same weekend. He had this box van thing and an open trailer. I saw him collect the money at Terre Haute. It was a 6-foot trophy. He stuck in the window of the car, had his suit still on, tied around, went to the payout window, hopped in his truck and drove out. And there was just the 9, Federated Auto Parts, whatever, with the trophy sticking out. And I was just that's living.
Yeah.
That guy's doing things.
He was on Dale Jr. Download, which is Dale Jr.'s podcast, video cast.
That was probably the best episode next to Rick and Mast.
By far. You can ask Bailey, my fiance, people that are close to me when that came out, or when they announced that he was going to be on the show. I guess him and Mark Martin were the 2 most highly demanded guests. Well, they hadn't got Mark on there yet, but they got Schrader.
Mark's got some good stories.
Oh yeah, so they announced Schrader's gonna be. I was like a kid in the candy store all week, waiting for the show to come out, and Schrader was on there, and he was like, they were like, how many races are you going to get in this year? And he's like, well, I'm getting a late start. I tore my rotator cuff. I had to have shoulder surgery. And he's like, yeah, and Corona. And he's 65 this year. He said, I still get in 65 or 70. I was like, that's what I'm talking about.
Dude, he does it. And I definitely can't pick one.
Yeah.
It's going to be so hard. I mean, I guess if I had to, it'd be Jack Hewitt.
Yeah.
And it's not because of his interviews or whatever. It's just, I mean, the guy at 4 Crown hopped in a midget, hopped in a sprint car, hopped Silver Crown car, I'm just win. I mean, and Jack Hewitt and his mustache went across everywhere and just won everything. But for me, like what it was, I mean, my dad, I mean, your dad's always your first hero, right? Like, and my dad ran late models, and I loved cheering for my dad. But it was sprint cars that got me. So I was a diehard Sammy Rodriguez fan. Like, I mean, there wasn't nobody badder.
Yeah.
And I grew up at East Bay. And what was cool, because we started off the year with the Winter Nationals, and we had 2 bad boy locals that could hang. I mean, Keith Nosbish would give Moyer a run for the late models, and Sammy would put it down in the sprint car. Sammy and Taylor Andrews. I mean, we were stacked up back then, and Florida's like considered an island. Mm-hmm. Like when I moved to the Midwest in 2009 or 8 or whatever it was, 9, and I told people where I was from. Like, they thought like I had like a pet flamingo, and I rode a dolphin to school. And
yeah, like you literally every day you're at the tiki bar with an umbrella in your drink. Like
right, yeah. They just thought like in my front yard had beach sand or some shit. Right. Like, it was just terrible. Like, the reason places like Indiana, North Carolina, and other states, I mean, Wisconsin's big in late models, like pavement late models. Iowa's big in sprint cars. PA is probably the biggest place in sprint cars.
Pennsylvania Posse.
The Posse. I mean, there ain't no better. And I think a lot of the reason that is because there's nothing else to do. Like in Indiana, you watch racing or college basketball, the end. Well, hell, in Florida, like, why would you take your whole family to a race when you can go to the beach for free, or you can go to Busch Gardens or Disney World, or there's a lot of things to do in Florida. So racing kind of takes a back seat, but it's like, I think what really gets looked over is racing starts in Florida. And
every year?
And it don't matter, NASCAR, Daytona,
Super late models, New Smyrna.
The World Series, you got the Winter Nationals.
Yep.
You got, I mean, and I'm not talking East Bay or Volusia. I mean, whatever you have, the whole country is coming to Florida in February.
Yeah.
So, like, a lot of stuff runs through Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So the locals, now the people who do grasp it, like, they're diehard.
Right.
But I mean, for the average people, like, through the summertime, like, why would you do that? People don't understand what we have here. Like, we have, I mean, Volusia is on iRacing. 5 Flags, Snowball Derby on iRacing. I mean, the season ends here, Homestead.
Right.
Like, I mean, we got it. We have it here. Like, hopefully, and I know the diehards do, but I mean, hopefully the state, the region grasp what we have. I mean, we have some mecca events. I mean, you can't name a series, and I will tell you, whoever is the baddest in the country looks at that on their, like, everybody wants to win a Gator.
Yeah.
Like, everybody wants to win the Winter Nationals. Everybody wants to win the Cup. Daytona starts, ends in Homestead. Like I said, Florida's a big, big deal in racing, but when you come from Florida, you kind of look like you're from an island.
Right.
And I don't like that.
So you said all that to say what? Like, where are you leading with that?
I mean,
you saying that
think
the
about
locals,
some of the baddest.
You saying the locals get looked over?
No, I mean, we have some of the baddest.
So you're saying that when they come to Florida, that the locals can run with them?
Absolutely. People pride, like the PA Posse prides, like, if you want to come through, I mean, there was a huge stretch where the Outlaws didn't win. The Posse, like, an Outlaw regular didn't win in PA for, like, ever. Mm-hmm. But, like, if you look at the Winter National shirt, you got some Florida boys on there.
Yeah.
You got some Florida boys. I mean, and now the torch has passed from, like, the Nosbridges to the Kyle Bronsons to whoever. But we have some, I mean, the Rudiments. Like, and I'm talking Wayne and Buzzy, and not just David. I know David got the most recognition because he went to Cup, but I mean, like, Wayne and Buzzy are both in the New York State Hall of Fame. I mean, we had guys like Will Cagle come through here. Like, he was the Tampa Terror. I mean, Sam Rodriguez was one of the baddest across the country. I mean, he's done his thing all over the place. On the pavement, I mean, you got Wayne and Dickie Anderson. I mean, we got some snowball derby champions in there. I mean,
Dave Rogers.
Dude, Rick Wilson.
Yeah.
Joe Nemechek.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some heat coming out of Florida. And I mean, the Pletchers, Dave and Buggy, you know, the Little 500 is a marquee event for sprint cars. And for a long time, I mean, the front row was occupied by a Floridian, whether it be Brazil, Childers, Scarborough, any one of the Smiths, Stan Butler, David Steele. Like, I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And some of those guys who are out-of-staters have ties to Florida because of how significant Florida is to their season. Like Danny Smith, one of the original Outlaws. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's got big ties with Jack Nolan and those guys because they come down here in Florida every year. Because if you don't pop your season off right, sometimes it's big to keep your sponsors rolling, to keep things going, to set the tone for the year. So if it don't start off right in Florida, it don't happen.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. So let's talk about some of our favorite, like, local heroes. Like, for me, I've got a bunch on the list that you might not even know. The name might not ring a bell to you because this was more of like Auburndale, Lakeland, DeSoto type heroes.
USA International is the first place you race on iRacing.
Yeah.
Come on.
And yours are, might be a little bit different, but a lot of people that watch the show are going to know who both of ours are. So give me, just rattle off a couple of your favorite, your all-time, your local heroes, local legends, and give me just a quick explanation why, and then I'll do the same.
Well, see, I grew up at East Bay,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody, dirt, late model, modified, sprint cars, they know East Bay because that's where their shit starts. And then it heads from East Bay to Volusia. And, I mean, I grew up, we'll start late models. I mean, it was my dad, like Keith Nosbish, Bobby Alexander, Donnie Tanner.
Yeah.
Sprint cars, I mean, it was Sam Rodriguez, Roland Johnson. I mean, Gene Lasker. We had, and I know people know Gene and his personality and stuff. I mean, in the middle 90s, Gene was bringing the heat. Joe Melnick, Taylor Andrews.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, dragging his tail around the friggin' fence. But I had a favorite. Like, you did not want to come to East Bay on a Saturday night and bet me. Because, I mean, I had a favorite in every class. I mean, if we were going to go, street stocks, I'm like, Paul Davis, baby. Paul Davis in that number 10 Big A's Auto Salvage number, the black and yellow is going to put it on your ass.
My dad was pretty good buddies with Paul, and I've got a couple of Victor Lane pictures with Paul from back in the day.
Hey, and I don't care what you grow up on to do. Like, I went to run sprint cars and had some success across the country. If Paul Davis walked in here right now, I'd be like, that's Paul Davis, okay? Like, you better put some respect on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the cool thing is he's like full blown back into racing street stocks now. That's awesome.
I'm just saying, you don't want, if you got to, and that leads to anywhere you go, anywhere in the country, you show up to a track, there is somebody there who is going to make it hard on you. Like that,
like a Paul Davis or a Timmy Gay in the street stocks.
Timmy Gay. I mean,
yeah. Shout out.
There's mini stocks. It was like you were going to outrun the 7 Junior, and that could have been Scotty Williams. It could have been Michael Smith. I mean, it could have been Dorsey Strickland, like William Hampton, and that weird less car he had. Modified stocks, it was like Forrest Goff and my uncle Tommy Evanovsky. I mean, there was some heat, okay? And then late models was stacked, sprint cars stacked. And even to the pavement side, like we got Wayne Anderson, Dickie Anderson, Timmy Russell,
Yeah.
I mean, we got some Brad May. We got some people who lay it down.
Yeah. So
BJ McLeod.
BJ, shout out. Hey, his first start last night as a Cup owner.
Really? Okay. I mean,
making moves, man. So not his first Cup start, but as an owner last night.
No, I got it.
So probably my number one. I have two all-time local heroes. Like Schrader's like my national. You know what I mean? Like
that's my Jack Hewitt.
Yeah. Eddie Howell.
Hey, who don't like Eddie Howell?
Everybody loves Eddie Howell.
I raced against this kid a lot.
Jason, yeah. So, got a buddy who traveled the country with Eddie, Goodies Dash series, stuff like that.
Goodies Dash, Hooters Pro Cup.
And he said that they could literally be like in a restaurant in Pennsylvania, or they could be somewhere in like Iowa or just anywhere. And somebody would walk up and be like, "Hey, Edward!" Like, it's just everybody knows Edward Howell. And so, but I have close ties to, I always call him Uncle Eddie. I got close ties to Uncle Eddie because he grew up in this little hole-in-the-wall place where
Bradley Junction.
You know what? Hey, when you come on 37 South.
Dude, if you look at your phone too long while you're driving and you're texting, you roll right through Bradley Junction.
Hey, there's a green sign that says Bradley JCT. Well, a lot of people think that JCT stands for Junction. That ain't what it stands for. It stands for Jesus came through. And them railroad tracks,
oh, come on.
that's the pearly gates. That's heaven right there.
Dude.
Uncle Eddie told me that.
Dude, I mean, but you talk about pavement. I mean, I heard, Rusty Dixon, Bobby Dixon.
Yeah.
I mean, they did dirt and pavement. I mean,
yeah.
The Dwayne Dempseys.
Yeah. Edward did a little bit of both too, but he's
the
my
Jernigan's, anybody. I mean, there's some heat that rolls through here.
So he was mine, and just because I knew him personally, but he had a lot of success. I mean, he won, a lot of super late model races around here. He won a lot of Goodies Dash. I mean, I watched the race at night on YouTube where he won the Goodies Dash race at Bristol.
Dude, you know where Jimmy Johnson got his start when he ran ASA? Very first race? DeSoto.
That's
right.
I watched Edward race a lot at DeSoto. He was actually driving the Sarah Limited Late Model Series.
You know ASA, you're talking about Mike Eddy, Gary St. Amant.
Yeah, I watched Eddie run a lot at
we had
DeSoto.
Well, yeah, the icebreaker was always at DeSoto.
Well, he drove the Sarah Limited Late Models for Rick Wilson when he had the 62
what was
Wolf
Sarah,
car.
Southern Area Racing Association?
Yeah, it was a limited late model series. And then another one that I've got that's local. I'm a little bit partial to this one too, but he's a bad bitch. Was a bad bitch. R.I.P. But man, Jamie Burrows.
Well, I mean, that's how I feel about my Uncle Red Koonsbeck.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember Red Koonsbeck and Andy Hillenberg tying up in turn one at East Bay and Red trying to crawl through the cage to whip his ass. And, because to Andy Hillenberg, it was just another race.
Yeah.
But to my Uncle Red, the Outlaws and the All-Stars were coming through East Bay, and, that's where, we didn't have that. The Florida guys, what was cool is we had a chance to show what we got. And, there were some guys like Wayne Hammond, David Steele, the Smiths, the Jim Childers, the Dave Scarboroughs, the Billy Yumas, the Stan Butlers, who got to travel and do some things. But what was cool about being a racer from Florida is you knew, even if you couldn't afford to travel, the Shane Burrows, Jamie's son, you knew once a year.
In February, it's your time to shine.
They had to come through us.
Yeah.
And you know what? We had to put our flag in the ground. These colors don't run.
Yeah. And Jamie, I don't know if this is 100% true, but Danny Cropper, who is obviously he builds bodies now for the dirt cars. He builds badass late model bodies, modified bodies, stuff like that. But he was Jamie's longtime crew chief. And he said that along with Mike and Steve Boyd. But he said that...
They could bend some metal up.
Oh, yeah. He said that Jamie was the only driver to win in Florida in an open wheel modified at every track, dirt and asphalt.
See, I don't know because, I mean, Wayne and Buzzy, like, Wayne won everything, late model, modified, sprint car. I'm
not saying that's true, but I know Jamie. He might not be the only one, but Jamie's done that.
No, I know, but but you put your name next to Wayne, Buzzy Ruderman.
Yeah,
like, I mean, the Jeffersons, the Dempseys. Like, I mean, like, there's some heat when the Gong Show came out. You know, Boyd, McLeod. We had some. The Florida boys are real.
Yeah.
Across the board. I mean, and I like that because, I mean, you had front row Joe Nemechek coming out of here. I mean, setting on them poles. Like, it necessarily didn't have the deal it took to, like, solidify the deal, but he's got a little bit better with his son, John Hunter.
Right.
But they come out of Lakeland.
Right.
Rick Wilson, who took over for Richard Petty.
Come from about 2 miles from here.
Yeah, and we are in the middle of nowhere, let me tell you. You know, there's some heat that comes out of here. I mean, across the country, they're getting their motors built out of Miami, Progressive.
Yeah.
Like, Florida ain't no joke. And I hate when I bring up Florida and, like, people talk about, because, like, when I went to the Chili Bowl, if you were the highest qualifier from your state, you got to carry the flag and everyone else got to walk with you. And they would announce Indiana to be whoever and, like, 100 some bitches. Like, California and be 50, and, like, Carolina. There was only one from Florida, so I was getting to carry the flag. But, like, to extend past Florida was a tough deal because of the cost of living, the type of schedule, the stuff that goes on down here, the purses that are paid.
Right.
Like in Indiana, you got to, or North Carolina, Iowa, or those, you know, the Midwest states. You got to dedicate more of your life to it because most of the time you spent 4 months out of the year in snow building your cars. In Florida, we raced January to December.
Yep.
So you was racing until you was racing, and then you had a week off. We called that when they did the banquet, and then you went back to racing. Sometimes you'd already started the next season by the time they had the banquet.
Yeah.
And you were digging. So, like, it was tough for and I'm not trying to, like, you know, lollipop for Florida or anything, but I'm just saying it's a little bit different to work and maintain in Florida and race. And the level of commitment is equal, if not more, than the guys who are full-time living, racing. But those guys who wake up Monday through Friday racing, working for a living, still had their hands full with them Florida boys.
Yeah.
Across the board.
Oh, that's a fact. That's a fact. I mean, we see it every January, February when they come down here, like you said.
I beat the Florida drum heavy.
But I mean, there's some more guys. I mean, even some local Bartow guys like Eddie King. I mean, Eddie King won a lot of races. I believe it's his brother, David King, won a lot of races around here. I mean, the list just goes on and on. I mean, like Wayne Morris, dude. Wayne Morris is a bad dude.
Well, I mean, we got some guys that like right now in Florida, that Ross Chastain's showing his deal, and he come out of just pro trucks, doing his thing, and I mean
Josh Williams,
and I feel like BJ McLeod kind of set the trail for that. I mean, I know a lot of people look at BJ McLeod like a starting park or whatever, but I'm saying there's not many guys who can hang for the amount of years that BJ has hung in the nationwide truck cup level, and just to get where he's at. I mean, that's a tough deal.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had guys. I mean, Mike Cope. Now, and I mean, I know people predominantly like talk about Travis Cope, but it's like Mike Cope ran that Slim Jim 44 and that Penrose.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he did things like those guys had it different than it is now. But I mean, when you rolled through the Snowball Derby or the Governor's Cup or the, you know, anything at New Smyrna, like those guys they're not beating Timmy Russell and David Pletcher and Wayne Anderson, Dickie Anderson, you know, like Hampke and all them guys. I mean, those guys when you rolled through the World Series, the Winter Nationals, Snowball Derby, any of that shit, like you knew Florida boys were there, and I really, really love that. Like that's why on all my belts on my fire suit, you see the Florida flag, you see all it, because I feel like Florida doesn't get the respect. Like, because when you think, if you want to be an actor, you go to Hollywood. You want to be a singer, you go to Nashville. You want to be a model, you go to New York. You know what? Like, you think Chicago. You think you want to be a racer, you go to Indianapolis, North Carolina. But there's some heat that rolls through, Florida across the board. And I mean, as much as you see your Wisconsin, because I know Wisconsin's real big on late models. But for the simple fact that it is hard to maintain, put up the longevity, and get the notoriety that comes out of Florida, I really, really believe like we put out some of the best talent. And it goes to show when you see, like I said, the Snowball, the Rattler, any of that stuff.
Yeah.
You see them Florida boys up there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, just to kind of wrap things up, I mean, Florida has put out some guys, obviously, and I mean, we could sit here and go on and on for hours about some local.
This could be an entire hour.
Local legends, but we definitely that kind of leads us to another thing that we wanted to throw out there. We wanted to start having some, not all the time, but here and there. Have obviously we can't do it here because we're not set up for it, but maybe do like a legends, like a round table discussion.
Oh, dude,
and have some guys come in, some local guys from around here, from around Tampa area.
All we gotta do is get Joe Melnick on here, and that's a 2-hour episode.
Yeah,
Joe Melnick will lay it there. If there is a bench racing world champion, is Joe Melnick.
Yeah, no, we definitely want to get going with that. Get some guys on here, and get rolling.
Yeah, I mean, Wayne Anderson just won Saturday night at Citrus. Put it on them boys, them little kids. Hey, Wayne Anderson's out there trying to. He just came, bought a motor home, was doing some things out there, relaxing with his family. He can still dabble.
Oh yeah,
2-time Snowball Derby champ.
Oh yeah. So yeah, we're definitely going to try to work on that and get some guys on here. Anybody got any suggestions? Y'all make sure y'all send them to us. We'll see what we can do. Try to reach out to those guys. I'd like to get some guys on here that kind of had some history in the past and let them maybe kind of rehash and dig up some old bones. So, but all right, we're going to take one more commercial break, and probably Troy's probably going to make another drink, and I'm probably going to go take another pee, and then we'll be right back in just a few minutes. Well, we're back from our drink break / PP break, and we're gonna yeah, it's a little long. We got a little winded talking about some heated subjects, but we're gonna wrap this thing up real quick. Yeah, so good show. I feel like we touched on this past weekend. Getting back to our roots, karting, hell of a time. I personally can't wait to do it again. Next Dirt Devils race, as long as you're not running a sprint car, you got that ride again.
Hey, come on.
And then we touched on what a cob is, and I'm just kidding. I should be pointing at myself.
Yeah, like the shirt that says like "I'm with stupid" should be like "I'm with Cobb."
Yeah,
that should be you.
So, we kind of played on this
Ryan,
week.
who?
We kind of played on this. So funny you said that. We kind of played on this week the Troy Who thing. I had people mention that we should make shirts that say Troy Who.
Hey, I'll run second every week if it pays me.
Yeah.
Come on. Hey, sometimes if you are having people talking about you running second like it's a thing, you're doing something right.
Yeah.
Hey, fuck them. Hey, that's 2 weeks in a row to drop the F. I don't even care. Listen, not every show is going to be super controversial. Not every show is going to be super heated. We're out here bench racing.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're in the driveway and you leave there hating your family. Sometimes you're in the driveway and you're like, it wasn't so bad. I'll see you next week. We'll play some cornhole. Like, this week, we're out here. Hey, we're rolling the bottom. Yeah. Hey, sometimes you roll the bottom. Catfish. That's another racing slang. We're out here catfishing.
Yeah, we're catfishing.
And we ain't rim riding right now.
We missed that on the racing slang. I'm glad you threw that in there.
No, it's all right. Either way, like, it's not every show's got to be a banger.
No, I feel like it was a good show though. So next week we're definitely going to try to get some guests on here, even if they're not in person. Maybe we'll use our fancy little dealio here. Yeah, tongue's getting a little heavy.
Hours is a long time when you're drinking.
Yeah, so we'll try to get a guest in here. If they're not in person, definitely on the phone. But we appreciate y'all for tuning in. We're going to obviously fire off another one again next week. Make sure if you get a chance, go out and support some local short tracks this weekend.
We got Auburndale.
Auburndale's running. Me and Troy are going to be there. Your nephew's running a Legends car for the first time.
Come on, TJ.
TJ's going to run a Legends car for the first time at Auburndale, so we're going to go out there, check that out, possibly take the camera.
Let's go.
I think Citrus is running.
I'm sure Yo-Yo's got something.
Oh yeah, Yo-Yo's got he's got Outlaw figure 8 modified dealios. The guy's coming down from Indiana, and
he's got helicopter races going on.
Yeah, there's some Outlaw figure 8s at Showtime. Our buddy Colton Bettis is going to be there running a super mini late model Outlaw mod mini whatever
they're called.
Yeah, so we're going to get off here before the camera dies.
Yeah, hey, help us. Come up with some poll questions. Come up with some topics. Until racing really gets fired off, we're out here reaching, folks.
Yeah.
This is the best we got.
Yeah. So if you got any poll questions or any good topics, send them our way. We're going to jump off of here.
Subscribe to the YouTube page.
Yep.
Like the Facebook page. Hit us on MySpace.
I really got
AIM.
Yeah, I really got to get better.
DOS.
I really got to get better at doing that at the beginning of the show. Plugging all the social media.
You put some shit up here, like little things.
Yeah, like at Bench
I'd be
Racing.
like, click on this, and it'll be right here.
Yeah, so follow us.
Check episode 27 for that.
Yeah, follow us at Bench Racing on all social media platforms. That is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and most importantly...
Hey, even give us a thumbs down. We like that shit.
Yeah, even most importantly, the YouTubes. So,
yeah, tubes.
Yeah, I mean. So, all right, we're going to jump off of here. We'll see y'all next week. We'll maybe see y'all at Auburndale if y'all are out there this weekend. We're going to have the camera with us and do some bullshit.
TJ DeCaire debut. Let's go.
Let's get it. So, Little Gator Legends cars this weekend is where we're going to be, not behind the wheel, just moral support in the pits.
Can't cob anything up that way.
Can't cob anything up that way. So, all right, we'll see y'all next time. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. And this has been Bench Racing, episode 4, episode 5, coming soon.